Okay, welcome guys to today's lesson. Uh, Today we are going to be talking about file handling and JSON basics, right? So it's a file handling and JSON basics, right? So right now, whenever we write our code, right, and when our program closes, the data disappears because it only lived in the RAM in a variable, right? It wasn't persistent, right? So today we're going to learn how we can save data permanently without using databases. How we can save data permanently using files, right? So you can save that data on a disk, on your local storage, on your computer, right? So this is the first step toward building programs that remember things between runs, things like logins, scores, settings, student records, or anything, right? So I assume that everyone is ready to begin today's lecture, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so I've already created my date18.py. Okay, for now I'm going to look at file handling, right? So with file handling, you can write to files, you can read files, and you can modify files, right? So let's say we have with open student.txt with okay file dot write student name, let's say Brandon, right? Okay, so we have open student.txt ws file, right? So what happens here is with open, this opens a file called student.txt, right? So the file is going to be located here or inside the folder. Okay, yes, Mr. Janga.
Sorry, I lost my network for about some 20 to 30 seconds, so I don't know if you can just say
Okay,
what you said while I was offline.
okay, that's fine. So with open student.txt comma w, what this does is that it opens a file called student.txt. If the file doesn't exist, Python creates it for us, right? So the file is going to be located at the sidebar. This is our sidebar, right? Where we have day 1, day 2, day 3, and so on. This is where the file is going to be located. So if the file doesn't exist, Python is going to create the file for us, right? So w, this w, it means write mode, right? So write mode will erase whatever was in the file before and start afresh,
Okay.
right? If the file doesn't exist, it creates a new one, right? And then we have this one as file. This is what we call a context manager, right? So what this does is that it automatically closes the file for us when we are done, right? So once we open the file, write whatever write inside the file, is going is going to automatically close it for us, right? So before this existed, programmers had to remember to type things like file dot close after file
Okay.
dot write. So this made it easy for us developers to close the file automatically for us, right?
Mhm.
All right. So we are all together.
Yes, yes. I'm following.
Okay. So you guys, you can see on my side, but that we don't have a student.txt, correct?
Yeah. You
Yes.
explained line. So you explained line 4. What about line 5?
Okay, line 5. This is here where we have our file.write. This is where we write inside our file student.txt,
Okay.
right? So I'm now
So
run.
those are
Oh yes,
okay. I wanted to ask on line 4 with is it a keyword?
yes, it's a
It's a
keyword.
keyword.
Yes, it's a keyword.
Open is a keyword also.
Yes, it's a keyword.
Then it's file keywords.
As is a keyword, but our file is not a keyword. You can change it.
Okay.
See, I
As well
change
as
it.
student. As
Uh,
well as student.
yes, you can say as a student, right? But since we are working with files,
No, I
it's
was referring to. Sorry, Mr. Kumal. I was referring to the student. That is after. Is it on line 4? After open, you open the bracket, then you open double quotes. I was saying student.
oh
The one before that dot. Can we replace, for example, can we say Brandon dot text?
yes, that's correct. This is the name of the
Okay,
file.
it's okay. It's okay. Thank you.
Okay,
I'm answered.
answered. Okay, so file dot write, in this word file is this variable that we used here. So these two have to be the same variable, right? So our variable dot write writes the text into our file, right? So I'm now running the code. Let's see. If you look at my sidebar, we now have student.txt. Do you all see it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm now clicking it. Student name Brandon.
Ah,
Do you all see that?
cool. Yeah.
Exit. So it just wrote what's inside file.write, student name Brandon. So this is how we write into files. So w, if the file doesn't exist, it's going to create the file for us, right? So let me change Brandon to, let's say, Allen, right? So now we already have what student.txt. If I run the code, what's going to happen? Yes, Mr. Changa. Yes, Mr.
Yeah.
Chang.
Yes. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. This time around, when you open that file, student.text, we are going to see student name is going to Alan. Student name is Alan.
All right. Currently, we have student name Brandon. What's going to happen to Brandon?
We're going to replace it with Alan.
Okay, let's see. I'm now running the code. Okay, let me open student.txt. Exit. It now replaced Brandon with Alan. So remember that W, if the file doesn't exist, it creates it. But if the file exists, it's going to erase everything inside that file. It's going to erase everything inside that file and write and write the new characters or whatever that we wrote in our file dot write, right? Okay, so any questions? Yes, Alan.
So W is a keyword.
Yes, this one is a keyword.
Okay.
So if you are writing to a file, you should always have W. Right. Okay. So let me comment this out. Okay. So we have with open student.txt. In this time, instead of W, we have R as file. Okay, content equals to file dot read, print content. Right. So remember the first time we said that W means write, R means read. So now that means that we are now on read mode. Right. So if you don't specify a mode, this is the default mode. Read is the default mode. Right. But it's good practice to always write it. Right. So with open student.txt R as file, here we're just simply telling our Python open this file for us in read mode. We're not writing to the file, we are reading it. Right. Then we have our file.read. Right. So file.read pulls everything inside our txt. Right. Right. And then we store everything that's inside the txt into our temporary variable so that we can print it in the command line if you want to see it. Right. We're still together.
Yeah, right. There's latest dinner time. Let me give you some.
Okay. So here we have what? Print content. So what this does is just going to print the content that we read from the file. Right. So I'm now running the code. See on my terminal it printed what? Student name Alan, because that is what's inside our file. Because that is what's inside our txt. Right. Okay. So any questions about the read mode? So no questions. So let's remember that dot read and dot write, they both have these round brackets, but with dot read inside the round brackets they're supposed to be empty, but with dot write you're supposed to add data inside those round brackets. Okay, so any questions before I move on? Okay, so no questions. Okay, let's move on. Let me clear my terminal. Okay, so we have with open student.txt. slash a is file dot write bracket slash n course Python. Okay, so we have a write mode, we have read mode, and a stands for append, right? So remember that the write mode, it creates the file for us, right? But if the file exists, it's going to erase everything that's inside the file. But with the append mode, it adds new content to the end of the file without touching what's already there. If there is something inside our txt file, it's going to add something. It won't delete what's already inside the file, right? So backslash n, this just simply tells Python add our content in a new line, right? So this is a new line character, right? So without this, our new text is going to be stuck at the end. Python is just going to edit here at the end of Alan. But with backslash n, instead of it coming here at the end of Alan, it's going to edit below. Okay, so that's a new line character, right? So I'm now running the code. Done. Let's check our student.txt. You see that inside student.txt we now have our course Python, because we added something new using what? The append method. Okay, any questions? Okay, no questions. Great. Yes, Alan.
So dot append, when you want to add more students in a file, do you want to understand this?
Yes, we use a, but here we have what? Dot write. It's still dot write, not dot append. It's still dot write. But the difference is this keyword. It's a instead of w.
Okay.
Okay. So do we all understand write mode, read mode, and append mode? Okay, great. So let me comment.
When it comes to this append mode, what do you mean by append? Maybe you can elaborate a little bit.
Okay, so append, the append mode adds new text into our file. Remember that the write mode, it either it creates the file if it doesn't exist. If the file exists, instead of writing inside that file, it first erases everything that's inside the file and then write the new text, right? So sometimes we don't want to erase the text that was there before, so we're going to use the append mode. So what append mode is going to do is that it's just going to write into this file without deleting the text that was there before.
So append is mainly for editing.
Yes, it's
The
for.
other one is for creating.
Okay, let's say student1.txt so that you can see, right? See, even append mode, it can also create a new file. So the difference between the write mode and the append mode is that the write mode, when there is text inside that file, is going to delete the previous text, but the append mode is not going to delete the previous text. It's just going to add more text, right, preserving the text that was there before.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, great. So if you don't care about the text that was there before, you can use the write method. But if you want to keep the text that was there before, you can use the append method. Yes, Mr. Janga?
I'm sorry, I wanted to confirm if I got it well. So when you use the last method, what the append method, when there's nothing in that text file, it is going to create what do you call this, a blank line, and then it's going to insert information below that blank line, is it?
Oh yes, the blank line is because of backslash n.
It doesn't want to step whatever it is that was.
Yes. For this blank line, you're supposed to use backslash n. This tells Python create this text in a new line.
Okay.
You get it?
Yeah, I get it. I thought the blank line was as a result of the append method assuming that there's something in the first line, so I don't have to insert anything in the first line. But now
No,
that
it's
you've
not.
explained, it makes sense.
Okay. So, any more questions about file handling? Okay, so no questions. Okay, let me say print. Yes, Mr. Dubs.
Okay. So after you are putting those codes, right, does it change what happens to our files that we created? Like this thing you're doing, putting codes, it doesn't change. It's
No,
already there.
no, our files were permanently created. See, I can
Oh,
check it student.txt, student1.txt.
it's okay.
Yes.
I see. I see. Okay. Interesting.
So this is what we mean by saying that creating programs that can remember data.
All right.
Okay. So let's look at JSON. Right. So far we've been saving things in plain text. This is just plain text. But real programs usually need to save structured data. They don't save data like this, right? So a student's name, right? A student's name and their course and their marks all organized together. That's where JSON comes in, right? So JSON, it stands for yes, Mr. Ajanga.
Sorry, Mr. Kumala, I just wanted to confirm before we proceed. You had print on line 8. I just want to confirm if what I'm thinking is correct. So if we are to write, no, you don't have to write it. I just want to confirm. You can confirm it. Don't run it.
Okay.
Let's say if we run from line 6 to line 8, is it?
Yes.
It is just going to print created file, check your side bar. At the same time, it is going to create that student.txt, is it?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
It's okay, thank you.
Okay, so I just added this for the ones who were not able to join our lesson, because they would just run this and not see anything on their terminal and think that it didn't work.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. It makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Okay. So JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation, right? But don't let the name confuse you and think that this is only for the programming language JavaScript. No, it's not. Because JSON it's used everywhere in almost every programming language, not just JavaScript. So it's basically a text format for storing data that looks almost identical to a Python dictionary. Right. So always remember that JSON format and the Python dictionary, they are identical. They look the same. Right. Okay. So we haven't done this before. So we have what? Import JSON. You don't have to download this. It's already when you installed Python on your laptop, you already installed this module, this function, right? So if you want to use JSON, you have to import it inside your file. So that means you need to add it. So we use import JSON, right? Okay. So we're going to cover importing next week when we dive deeper into imports, right? Okay. So let's say we have a student. Let's say name, we have Brandon, course Python, right? Then we have with open student.json. Okay, writer mode is file json.dump student file. All right. So first we import JSON. This is, like I said, this is a built-in Python module. No installation is needed. When you install Python, you also install this. Right. So then we built a normal Python dictionary called student. We still all remember dictionaries, correct?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So json.dump student file. Okay. This takes our dictionary, right, and writes it into the file in JSON format. Right. So you notice that it takes two arguments, right? The first one, the data, then the second one, the file. So the data is this, it's our variable student, and the second one, the file, is this one, right? We still remember that student.json is the file that's going to be created that if it doesn't exist. If it exists, it's the file that we're going to write into, right? Okay. So I'm now running the code. If you look at my sidebar, it created the file student.json, right? So I'm now opening it. See, this is the JSON format, right? So do you guys see that JSON and Python dictionary, they are identical, they look the same? Do you see that?
Yeah,
Right.
we do, but from what you're saying, JSON and the dot text, dot JSON and the dot text, they are two different types of file.
Yes,
Type of files, is it?
yes, there are two different types of file. It's because of this .txt. This is a .json file. This is a .txt file, and this is a .py file. So all these three are different files. So the .py, .json, .txt, they all represent different things. Even a Word document file, it's called docs. See,
Yes.
yes, it's still the same as .py, JSON, and student.txt. So .txt, it just stands for text. This is just a basic file, nothing complicated, just basic file.
Okay.
Okay.
And .py, it stands for okay. Maybe
Python.
Mr. Alan can come in. Mr. Alan, you can come in.
Yes, Mr. Alan.
Number 7 and
So on JSON, can we use /n for separate name and cause?
No, we can't. Remember that this is already in a dictionary format.
Okay.
We use /n when we are entering it in, when we are using strings.
Okay.
Alright. So now, okay, let me comment this out. Actually, okay. Yes, Mr. Achanga.
Apologies, Mr. Kumar, about the JSON part from line 22. If you can just brush it through.
Oh,
Yeah.
you mean import JSON?
Yeah. I don't know what exactly transpired. I'm trying to assume, but I'm failing to that.
So if you want to use the JSON format, you need to add it into your code. You need to add it into your file, right? For example, okay, let me uncomment it. Right? Do you see this JSON.dump?
Yes, I do.
This okay, let me clear my terminal first. Okay, so JSON.dump. This means that we're now dealing with the JSON format. We're now dealing with JSON files, right? But let me comment out import JSON. See, we're now getting an error. Well, this error means that in our file, in our local file here, we don't recognize JSON. That's because we didn't edit. So if you want to edit in your file and work with JSON code, you need to import it. So we use import and then the name of the module, name of the function that you want to import.
Okay.
Right. Remember on Monday we were talking about functions, right?
Yes, I do.
Yes. So next week we're going to dive deeper into how these imports and the functions work, whereby you can create
Okay.
functions in another code and then import them in another file and so on. Okay, so for today, you know that if you want to work with JSON, you need to edit, and you edit by importing it using the import keyword.
Okay. So when we imported the JSON file and then we created the dictionary student, we were just creating another JSON file with a dictionary in it. We are not kind of confirmed that were we not editing the text file student.
No. Remember here our file name is student.json. It's not
JSON, okay.
student.txt.
Okay.
So
With open student dot okay, it's file. Okay, I understand. So we are creating so we are creating a JSON file, and then we are creating a JSON file with a dictionary in it, is it?
that's correct.
All right. What about the last line, line 29? JSON. Yes, you can
JSON
kindly
dot
explain that. I think I'll be okay.
okay. JSON dot dump, it means that add this data into our file, right?
Which data?
JSON dot dump means add this data. Our data is this one on the left, our dictionary.
No, okay. 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 So, all right. Okay. Okay. I understand. So, our data student is representing the dictionary, and then dot file is the keyword.
And this file is it's this word. No, it's not a keyword. You can change it into whatever you want,
Okay.
but it needs to be the same word. These two.
Okay. Okay. It's okay. I think I'm answered. I will revise tomorrow, but I think it makes sense now. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So now, okay, let me comment this out. Let's import it again. Import JSON, right, with open student dot JSON R. We're now not in read mode,
Yeah.
right?
True.
So as file, so we have data to, no, it says data equals JSON dot load file, right? Okay, print data name, print data course. Do we still remember working with things like this in the when we on from the dictionary lesson, right?
I do.
Do remember that I told you guys that a dictionary and a list are one of the most important data structures you should know in Python, right? So the same dictionary concepts, most of them apply when working with JSON, right? And now the thing is, when you are now creating systems, are using a framework like we are going to do in month 3, you are going to work with JSON almost every time, and you are going to work with things like this. So it's very important to understand how to access things in a dictionary. So if you are practicing, make sure that you nest your dictionary as much as possible so that you can get to understand how to access certain things using the keys and their indexes.
Keys and their values.
No, to access a value, you use a key. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. For example, print data name is going to print Brandon.
Yes, and remember that with dictionaries and JSONs, we know the odds are you know the key, but you don't know the value. So that's why it's important to know how to access the key more than knowing how to access the value. Okay, because 90% of the times you only know the key and you don't know the value. You know the key because you, as the developer, you are the one who's going to write the key, but the value is going to come from the user. So you get it.
Yeah.
Yes. So to access the value, you need to use the key. So the key is very important. Okay, so so line 33 with open student.json r as file. We all understand how this line works, right? So on line 34 we have data equals json.load file, right? Here we had when we were working with files, we had file.read, right? And with JSON we use json.load, open round brackets, and inside the round brackets, that is where you now add the variable, the name of the file. You can access the name of the file using our variable here, the one that you have defined by the time you're coding, right? So do you all understand how this works? Any questions before I run the code? Okay, so no questions. Okay, so json.load file, it reads the JSON file, our student.json, right? And then it converts it back into a Python dictionary. So that's the whole point of json.load, right? Okay, let me save my code. Okay, I'm now running. Yeah. See, it printed what? Brandon and Python. Brandon and Python. So here we printed what? The values only, right? Because we accessed the keys. Right. Are we still all on the same page?
Yep.
Right. So anyone with questions?
Yes, sir.
So no questions. Okay. Now okay, so what we're working with here, some of these things are not safe, but everything we have done so far, it works, right? But our reward code needs to be safer and cleaner, right? So let's upgrade some of these things with methods that are actually used by most systems that you interact with, right? So okay, let me comment this out. Okay, if anyone who wants to take a chance, who wants to take a guess, for example, let's look at this read mode, right? Let's just say student.txt doesn't exist. Okay, let's just print it and run it. Okay, let's say it's school.txt. I'm now running the code. See, we got an error because school.txt doesn't exist. So we can read something that doesn't exist, right? So how can we handle this? How can we avoid all of this? Right now our program crashed. How can we avoid our program crashing? What can we do? Who wants to tell us?
I'm still we are supposed to use. Okay.
Okay, yes, Mr. Dupes.
Sorry, you can go ahead. Just got interrupted. You can go, sorry.
Okay, Mr. Changa, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying, is it possible that you give us 30 seconds? Because one thing I'm confident about is we are supposed to use what we learned from last night. Is it?
What was that?
Error handling.
And for error handling, what do we use?
Yeah. So could you just give me just 15 seconds so that I can think about that. Well, I don't know if it's possible, but okay. Yeah, with open discord.cs file content discord. Yeah, this looks like an index, invalid index, etc., etc.
No,
No, no,
no, it's not
no.
an
Let's
invalid
continue.
index. Right. So let me look. Okay, here. Remember that you are right. We are working with error handling, but for error handling we use what? Try and except. Right. We use try and except, and then the name of the error that you think we might get. If we don't know the error that you think we are going to get, we can use except exception is. Right. Do you get it, Mr. Changa?
Yeah, I do, but there was another method which you said could replace except exception as e, which you said we could write all the anticipated errors manually. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, it's except exception is. It's the one that's going to write all of the errors. If you don't know which error to anticipate, you can use except exception is, and then the name of your variable.
Okay.
So, but for this case, I ran the code, our program crashed, we got the error. Our error is file not found error. Do you see it?
Yeah.
So on top of the error, the common errors that we learned in yesterday: value error, zero division error, index error, key error, type error, name error. We are now adding another error called file not found error.
Okay.
So what we can do here with the system, you can say try, okay, and then indent this code, right? Except file not found error, right? And then print that file does not exist, right? So let me clear my terminal. Okay, I'm now running the code again. This time the program didn't crash. We just got that file does not exist, right? So let's say we don't know the error that we're going to that. Let's say we don't know the error that you might get. We can use except exception is e. Okay, so today let's say except exception is error, right? Print that file does not exist, print our f string error, and then our error. Right, clear my terminal. Now running the code. See, it told us that the file does not exist, and then our error was error to no such file or directory. So this also is, it tells us that the file or folder that we're trying to access, it doesn't exist. Okay. Yes, Mr. Changa.
Sorry, I did not get the last part. On our terminal, where are we getting the second output which says error, then error number 2, no such file or directory?
We got it.
Okay.
We got it here from this word error. This one. So when you say except exception is error, this catches this is the one that's going to tell us the error
The
that you
actual
got.
error.
Yes.
Okay, and it's not picking it from what we declared, but it's picking it from the Python system, is it?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. I get it.
Yes, so you can use except exception as and then error and then print your variable to see the error that you got. Right. So now you know that no such file or directory school.txt. You now know that, okay, so this doesn't exist. It needs to be created first. All right. So let's go back to our file not found error. The file does not exist. Right. So we all understand how the file not found error works. Any questions? Okay, no questions. So let me go ahead. Mr. Dobbs and Mr. Farai, did this answer your questions from yesterday?
Yeah, but the type of error, yes, it did.
Did.
It did.
So even with these errors, you just have to remove file not found error and put the error that you think you might get. It can be a value error, zero division error, depending
Okay.
on what you are working with.
All right.
Right. So you just have to know which error code you're supposed to put.
All right.
Alright. Okay, so let me comment this out. Okay, let's say we have with open student dot txt rs file for line in file print line dot strip. Okay. Do you all still remember for loops? Do we all still remember for loops, right?
Okay.
Do okay. And you still remember dot strip, right? So what do you guys think this block of code does? What does it do? Yes, Mr. Changa.
Okay, I think that block from line 46, is it?
Yes, line 46.
It is going to it's going to access, first of all, it's going to access our file student.txt, and it is going to read that, and then for line in file print line dot strip. I'm not sure how many lines are in student.txt, but I'm sure it's going to access a certain
Okay,
line in that file.
yes, student.txt. It's 2 lines.
Oh, okay, there are 2 lines. Okay, you can go back to the code so that I can finish. So I think it's going to print all the lines, but it's going to clear all the white spaces. Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, let's see. Exactly, yeah, correct. So you are just looping over the file, right? So looping directly over the file, it reads one line at a time. It's efficient even for huge files. You can still loop over them, right? So even with files, you can still use for loops to loop over the files one line at a time, starting from top going down. Okay, so today we learned about two big ideas, file handling and JSON, right? So files let your programs remember data even after they close, using W to write, R to read, and A to append. And then JSON letters are save structured data like dictionaries, using JSON.dump and JSON.load, right? And then we also talked about catching errors with try and except instead of our program crashing, right? And also talked about that you can also loop over files, right? So this is the beginning of data storage. So right now we're saving everything into a single file locally in our computer, right? So later in the course we're going to connect the same idea to databases. So for now let us practice using JSON and dictionaries with local files, right? So any questions with what we learned today? Any questions? Yes, Mr. Janga.
No questions exactly, but maybe after, I think this video is you're going to share the link to the video, is it?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, thank you so much. If you send us the code and maybe the link to the video, maybe we might come up with questions tomorrow, maybe before the lesson. But as for now, I think it's okay.